Welcome. Tonight, we'll dive deep and rise high to visit some of Earth's wonders and mysteries.
Somewhere on Earth, there are places so strange that even modern science struggles to explain them. Landscapes that seem impossible, ruins with unknown origins, and locations wrapped in centuries of mystery. Tonight, we're traveling to some of the most mysterious places on Earth.
These aren't just beautiful destinations. They're places where history, myth, science, and unanswered questions collide, leaving experts and explorers searching for answers that may never come.
Some of these mysteries have inspired legends for thousands of years. Others continue to puzzle researchers today. And the deeper we look, the stranger they become.
Our journey begins in one of the driest places on the planet, a vast desert where enormous symbols have remained untouched for nearly 2,000 years.
From high above, giant lines stretch across the landscape. Birds, spiders, monkeys, perfect geometric shapes. Together, they form one of archaeology's greatest mysteries.
Welcome to the Nazca Lines of Peru. Covering hundreds of square kilometers, these giant geoglyphs are so massive that many can only be fully appreciated from the air. Raising an obvious question: how did people nearly 2,000 years ago create artwork they couldn't even properly see from the ground? The Nazca people carefully removed the dark surface stones, exposing lighter soil beneath. The result was enormous images etched directly into the desert floor. Surprisingly, the lines have survived because the region receives almost no rainfall, and the winds are incredibly calm, preserving them for centuries.
But preservation isn't the mystery. Purpose is.
Were these giant symbols religious pathways, astronomical calendars, ceremonial sites, or something else entirely?
Some researchers believe the lines marked sacred routes connected to underground water sources, an invaluable resource in such a harsh environment.
Others argue they represented constellations, helping ancient people understand the movements of the heavens. And of course, more imaginative theories suggest visitors from beyond Earth. While there's no credible evidence supporting extraterrestrial involvement, the sheer scale continues to fuel speculation. Sometimes the greatest mysteries don't require impossible explanations. They simply remind us how much ancient civilizations were capable of achieving.
Thousands of kilometers away, another ancient mystery waits atop a lonely volcanic island in the Pacific Ocean.
Here, enormous stone faces silently watch the horizon, standing as they've done for hundreds of years.
This is Easter Island. Officially known as Rapa Nui, this isolated island sits more than 3,000 kilometers from mainland South America, making it one of the most remote inhabited places on Earth. Across the island stand nearly 1,000 giant statues called moai, some weighing more than 80 tons. Each was carved from volcanic rock with astonishing precision, using surprisingly simple tools. But carving them was only half the challenge. The real mystery is transportation. How did an isolated civilization move these enormous statues across rugged terrain without modern machinery? For decades, theories ranged from rolling logs to massive wooden sleds pulled by hundreds of people. More recent experiments suggest the statues may have been walked upright using ropes, gently rocking them from side to side. Remarkably, this technique appears to work, although many questions remain. Why were they built in such incredible numbers? Most archaeologists believe the statues represented revered ancestors whose spiritual presence protected nearby communities.
Yet, by the time European explorers first arrived in 1722, many of these towering figures had already been deliberately toppled, marking the end of an era that still isn't fully understood.
Some historians believe fierce competition between rival clans led to conflict, while others point to environmental decline and dwindling resources. Whatever happened, the silent stone guardians remain as reminders of a civilization capable of extraordinary feats in complete isolation. But our next destination isn't isolated by an ocean. It's hidden beneath one of the most mysterious stretches of water on Earth. For decades, stories of vanished ships and missing aircraft have captured imaginations around the globe.
Welcome to the Bermuda Triangle.
Stretching between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, this region became famous for reports of vessels disappearing without explanation.
Headlines spoke of compasses spinning wildly, aircraft losing radio contact, and ships simply vanishing into the sea.
One of the most famous incidents occurred in 1945 when 5 U.S. Navy bombers, known as Flight 19, disappeared during a routine training mission. The rescue aircraft sent to locate them also vanished, creating one of the enduring legends surrounding the triangle. Over time, theories multiplied faster than the evidence. Some blamed magnetic anomalies capable of confusing navigation instruments. Others suggested underwater methane gas eruptions could reduce the density of seawater, causing ships to sink unexpectedly. And naturally, stories of alien abductions, underwater civilizations, and mysterious portals soon followed. Yet, when scientists examined the claims more closely, a different picture emerged. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the busiest shipping and aviation routes in the world.
Statistically, the number of accidents isn't significantly higher than in other heavily traveled regions.
Powerful storms, unpredictable weather, strong ocean currents, and simple human error explain many of the reported disappearances.
Even so, the legend refuses to disappear. Perhaps because mystery often survives long after facts become available. Sometimes, the stories we tell become just as powerful as reality itself. Our next mystery rises from the English countryside, where enormous stones have stood for thousands of years. No written records describe who built it. No surviving documents explain why.
Yet generation after generation has stood in awe of Stonehenge.
Some of its largest stones weigh more than 25 tons and were transported from quarries located many kilometers away. Even more astonishing, smaller blue stones appear to have traveled over 200 kilometers before reaching the site. Considering the technology available more than 4,000 years ago, the achievement borders on unbelievable. Archaeologists believe thousands of workers may have spent generations constructing this remarkable monument. But despite decades of research, the true purpose of Stonehenge remains one of humanity's greatest unanswered questions. Some researchers believe Stonehenge served as an enormous astronomical calendar, carefully aligned with the movements of the sun throughout the year. During the summer solstice, the rising sun shines directly through the monument, suggesting its builders possessed a remarkable understanding of the skies above. Others believe it was a sacred ceremonial site, where communities gathered to celebrate life, honor the dead, and strengthen social bonds. Excavations have uncovered human remains, ancient tools, and evidence of large feasts, hinting that Stonehenge was once the center of an active ceremonial landscape. Yet every new discovery seems to answer one question while creating two more. How did ancient builders transport stones weighing dozens of tons across rivers, forests, and rolling hills? And how did they position each massive block with such extraordinary precision? It's a reminder that our ancestors were often far more capable than we tend to imagine.
But the next mystery wasn't built by human hands at all.
Hidden deep within the mountains of northern Turkey lies a place that has baffled geologists, historians, and tourists alike.
From a distance, it looks like a frozen waterfall cascading down a hillside. Brilliant white terraces stretch across the landscape, filled with shimmering pools of crystal clear turquoise water. This breathtaking wonder is known as Pamukkale, meaning cotton castle. For thousands of years, mineral-rich thermal water has flowed down the mountainside, leaving behind layers of bright white limestone called travertine.
Drop by drop, nature created an enormous staircase, unlike anything else on Earth.
Ancient civilizations believed these waters possessed healing powers, attracting visitors from across the Roman Empire. Nearby, the ancient city of Hierapolis flourished as people traveled great distances seeking cures for illness and injury. Even today, scientists continue studying the unique chemistry that allows these spectacular formations to grow and constantly reshape themselves. It's one of those rare places where science fully explains the process, yet the result still feels almost magical. Sometimes nature creates landscapes so extraordinary that myths seem inevitable. But our next destination blurs the line between natural beauty and terrifying legend. In the deserts of Turkmenistan burns a fire that has refused to die for more than 50 years. Locals call it the door to hell. Officially known as the Darvaza gas crater, this massive pit glows with thousands of flames that dance day and night. The story begins in 1971, when Soviet geologists were drilling for natural gas in the remote Karakum Desert. Without warning, the ground beneath their drilling rig collapsed, revealing an enormous underground cavern filled with methane gas. Fearing the release of dangerous gases, the decision was made to ignite the methane, expecting the fire to burn out within days. Days became weeks. Weeks became years. Years became decades. More than half a century later, the crater is still burning, creating one of the most surreal sights anywhere on Earth. Standing beside its blazing edge at night, it's easy to understand how this fiery abyss earned its unforgettable name. Scientists continue to monitor the crater, but no one can say with certainty when the flames will finally extinguish. Until then, it remains a haunting reminder of humanity's unexpected impact on nature. Our next mystery takes us high into the Andes Mountains, where clouds drift through ancient stone walls that seem to float above the world. Perched on a narrow mountain ridge lies one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. This is Machu Picchu. Built by the Inca Empire during the 15th century, the city remained hidden from the outside world for centuries beneath thick vegetation and mountain mist. When American historian Hiram Bingham brought international attention to the site in 1911, it reignited one of history's greatest mysteries. Why was this magnificent city built in such an inaccessible location? Some historians believe it served as a royal retreat for the Inca emperor, surrounded by breathtaking scenery and natural defenses. Others argue it was a sacred religious center, carefully positioned to align with surrounding mountains and celestial events. Whatever its purpose, the engineering remains astonishing. Whatever its purpose, the engineering remains astonishing. Massive granite blocks fit together with such precision that not even a knife blade can slide between many of the stones.
even more impressive, no mortar was used to hold them together. This remarkable technique allowed the structures to flex during earthquakes rather than collapse. Centuries later, many of these walls still stand, while far newer buildings elsewhere have crumbled.
Sometimes ancient knowledge quietly outlasts modern assumptions. But not every mystery is carved into mountains. Some are hidden beneath the ocean itself. Off the southern coast of Japan lies an underwater formation that has sparked fierce debate for decades. Divers describe enormous stone terraces, sharp staircases, and perfectly angled platforms resting beneath the waves. This is the Yonaguni Monument. Discovered in 1986, the formation immediately divided experts into two opposing camps. One side argues that the monument is entirely natural, sculpted over thousands of years by powerful ocean currents, fractures, and erosion. The other believes at least part of the structure was modified, or even built, by an unknown civilization long before recorded history. Its flat surfaces, right angles, and step-like formations certainly appear surprisingly artificial at first glance. Yet nature has an extraordinary ability to create patterns that resemble human design. Without clear archaeological evidence, such as tools, carvings, or artifacts, the debate continues.
Whether natural or man-made, the monument reminds us how much of Earth's oceans remain unexplored.
In fact, scientists estimate we've mapped only a small fraction of the deep seafloor in high detail.
Countless discoveries may still be waiting beneath kilometers of dark, silent water.
It's a humbling thought that our own planet still holds mysteries greater than many distant worlds. And our next destination may be the most haunting of them all. A place where hundreds of towering stone figures watch silently across a barren volcanic landscape, inviting us to wonder what forgotten stories still lie buried beneath the earth.
Few places on Earth feel as if they belong to another world. Wind whistles across black volcanic rock. The landscape is almost silent, and strange stone figures seem to emerge from the ground itself.
This is the Valley of the Jars in Laos, one of Southeast Asia's most enduring archaeological mysteries. Scattered across rolling hills are thousands of enormous stone jars, some standing over 3 meters tall and weighing several tons. They were carved from solid blocks of sandstone, granite, and limestone before being transported to locations that remain difficult to access even today. But despite decades of research, no one knows exactly who made them or why. Local legends tell of a race of giants who celebrated a great military victory by filling these massive jars with rice wine. It's a colorful story, but archaeology points toward a far more practical possibility. Many researchers believe the jars were connected to ancient burial rituals dating back more than 2,000 years. Excavations have uncovered human remains, burial goods, pottery, and stone discs near several jar sites, strengthening that theory. Yet many questions remain unanswered. How were these enormous containers transported across rugged hills without wheels, cranes, or modern machinery? And why are they spread across such a vast region instead of being concentrated in one ceremonial center? The Valley of the Jars reminds us that entire cultures can leave behind incredible monuments while taking many of their secrets with them. But our next mystery isn't hidden in stone. It's hidden in ice. Antarctica is the coldest, driest, and windiest continent on Earth. Yet it's also one of the least explored. Beneath kilometers of ice lies a landscape that humans have barely begun to understand. Scientists have discovered enormous mountain ranges
hidden lakes, and ancient river systems trapped beneath the frozen surface.
One of the most remarkable discoveries is Lake Vostok, a gigantic freshwater lake buried beneath nearly 4 kilometers of ice.
Sealed off from the outside world for perhaps millions of years, it has become one of Earth's most intriguing scientific frontiers.
Could unique forms of microbial life have evolved there in complete isolation?
The answer could reshape our understanding of life's ability to survive in extreme environments.
It might even offer clues about whether life could exist beneath the icy surfaces of moons like Europa or Enceladus.
Antarctica also fuels countless internet myths. Rumors of hidden pyramids, secret military bases, and lost civilizations regularly circulate online, often accompanied by dramatic satellite images. But when investigated, these claims almost always have far more ordinary explanations. Natural mountain peaks, unusual rock formations, or optical illusions created by snow and shadow.
Even so, the continent's immense emptiness leaves plenty of room for imagination. After all, when so little has been explored, every strange image invites another question. Sometimes, mystery isn't created by evidence. It's created by the vast unknown. And perhaps that's what connects every place we visited on this journey. Whether carved into deserts, hidden beneath oceans, standing atop lonely islands, or buried under ancient ice, these extraordinary locations remind us that Earth is still filled with unanswered questions, and perhaps the greatest mysteries are the ones we haven't discovered yet. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a like and comment. It all really helps. Thanks. We'll see you next time on Sleep Time.